Hello, hello. This is Dr. Carla. Welcome back to the Strong Network podcast, where you will find a place to elevate your leadership skills, to check in with who you are as an entrepreneur, or you're just that go getter who looks to take your life and your career or your profession to the next level. I was thinking about something and I was saying, why not analyze our 2024 and what it looked like career wise? And so I have a couple of reflection questions for you that we can consider as you look to see how you want to pivot for 2025. And I've also created a resource which I will make available in the show notes. And it is about the 5-year plan that you can evaluate or dig a little deeper of what you want to do from 2025 to 2030 when it comes to your professional trajectory. So today, however, we're going to ask some questions, give you some support for your career development. I know you probably had already your performance development review, and I hope that went well for you. And that is great because that's from your manager's point of view, or whoever you report to's point of view. But this is something where you're able to analyze yourself and you're able to see, where are you when it comes to your achievements, when it comes to your passions and your strength and utilizing them and how they're utilized in your current position, your impact, your value, and then where's there are growth opportunities, your financial and lifestyle goals, and then, some kind of questions that align with the next 5 years. So got some notes and I want to share those with you today. So let's get started with that. With the reflection on your 2024 and what did you achieve? Wait, stop, hold on. Pause this and go ahead and get some paper or a notebook or your journal or wherever you keep and ask them questions. And whatever question pops out for you, make sure you jot it down. Pause it in between me talking so that you can get that. Or I will also list the questions for you, or sorry, you'll get a document, a link, so you can have the document for yourself. I'll do that. But also, if you're a person like me, sometimes I just like to jot it down, or I'm recording why the YouTube is going or the podcast is going, so I can capture the questions. All right. First question, simple, and I'll kind of go a little, not too fast, but I'm not going to linger too long on all of the questions, just some of the questions that stand out. First one, reflection on your 2024 achievements. What was your biggest professional accomplishment? Now think back. From January to now, what do you feel that it was your most professional accomplishment? And I have to tell you, it's not just what you did in your current role. Sometimes professional accomplishments can also be things that you've done professionally outside of your current role. So what are those? Jot those down. What goals or KPIs did you set at the beginning of the year? And how did you, or how well did you do at achieving them? So what goals, what KPIs did you set? Now, sometimes you have your company KPIs or your department KPIs, but do you ever give yourself key performance indicators that you are performing in the way that you want to perform when it comes to the pathway that you want for your professional development? So what goals and KPIs did you set at the beginning of the year, and how well or what did you do to achieve them? And I think it's important that you track what you did, not just how well you can grade it, but sometimes we miss having the strategy of how we did it or the process of how we did it. Next question, how did you grow or improve your skills this year? How did you grow, and how did you improve? If you're already that person, how did you improve the skills this year? Question number 4, What feedback, comments did you receive and how did you act on it? And I want to linger here for a minute. Not just your feedback or comments on your personal development plan or when you had your review. I want to know what about the feedback, the feedback you didn't really ask for, the one that happens in, chat or happens in the hallway, wherever you're working, the comments that are made. What kind of person are you? What kind of leader are you? What kind of employee are you? Those kind of comments. What have you heard? Are you easy to work with? Is it something about your style? Good. Or the areas that you need to improve? But what is the feedback, the comments that you receive? And then how did you act on it? Did you celebrate? Did you get an attitude? Did you quit? Because you just couldn't take it anymore. And there's a lot behind you quitting, I'm sure. But you have to ask yourself, feedback and comments, how did you act? Number 5, what challenges or setbacks did you face? And what did you learn from each challenge? What did you learn from each setback? Because remember, we never lose, we only learn. So if you had a challenge with a colleague, with a fellow leader, with your ideas, you get challenges getting your ideas across and people listening to what you recommend and what you see, and they don't quite see it that way. How did you handle that and what did you learn? Did you get some resilience from that? Did you see that there was some weakness and some opportunities that you needed to strengthen? Do you need to refine some strategies in the way that you move? Do you need to take a different kind of route, a different kind of action? How do you get people to hear you? Is there something that you need to work on in your communication style, in the way that you deliver what you need from someone? Or are you self-sabotaging? Was that some challenges? Did you talk yourself out of the opportunities for a promotion? Did you talk yourself out of an opportunity for some type of achievement? Did you talk yourself out of a project that you know that you have the skill set for, but you went ahead and believed the lies about yourself instead of the truth? So those are 5 questions on just reflecting on this year and how you showed up. So feedback, challenges, goals, professional accomplishments, that's under that first 5 questions. Now we have 3 more questions under getting clarity about your strengths and your passions. So the third one, excuse me, they're actually in order, but this is the first one under that. Which task or projects brought you the most satisfaction this year? And this is when we're talking about your strength. This is your passion, like what gets you going. So what tasks or projects brought you the most satisfaction this year? What skills, the next question, and talents did you use most frequently? And then on the other hand, which felt underutilized? Because there's nothing like being in your position and you're feeling like your skills or your talents are not being used. I have clients who feel like I am underused. I am underused for the things that I know how to do. Then there's many who are overused, right? That's a whole nother adjustment right there. What topics, next question, industries or roles excite you the most about your work? What topics, industries, or roles excite you about your work? Look, because I'm stumbling there, but understand that in your position, if you want to last long, if you want to see some type of development, it is important that there's something on your job in your industry that excites you, because that's what's going to keep you, and that's what's going to help drive you towards the stage of being that leader. All right, if that's your goal, and I hope it is. Evaluating your impact and your value. We have 3 questions under that, because evaluating your impact, these last 12 months, we know what someone else said about you. We know what was printed up. We know what they use to say what kind of percentage of a raise you're going to get or whatever. But did you evaluate yourself and the impact and the value that you brought to the team, to the organization, to the department. So how did your work create value for others? How did it create values for your clients, for the team, for the company? Next question, what relationships did you build or strengthen professionally? And how did they impact your career? Relationships. I know a lot of people like to put their head down and just get the work done. But when you're talking about developing your career, it is very key that you do work on relating to others. Well, you don't need nobody, huh? You don't need anybody? Okay. But when it comes to awards or when it comes to promotions, you know who they're looking for? People who can work with other people. So relationships are important. So did you build any? Did you strengthen any? And then the next one is, how has your work aligned with your personal values and purpose? How is your current position, the current work you do, how is it aligning with your values and your purpose? And your next section is growth and opportunities. What new skills, knowledge, or certifications did you get this year? Skills, what new knowledge, what certifications did you get this year? Did you? And I think back, and that's something I'm going to really work more on and putting that in the forefront with my clients. I know some things happen automatically, but I know I need to start inputting that more, because if you don't understand the value of a new skill or gaining new knowledge or getting some kind of certification, one, yes, it looks good on your resume. Yes, it looks good in an interview, but it also helps you not to get bored. It also helps you find some meaning in what you're doing, even if it's not really in the industry that you're looking at. If it's something that expands, what you want to do in your future, learn the skill, get the knowledge, get the certification. It's nothing better than to have a full understanding of the many things that you enjoy in life. Are there any gaps in your skills? Next question. Is there any gaps in your skills or experience that you need to address to reach, let's say, your 5-year goal? Are there any skills or experience that you need to address? Any gaps in the skills and experience? When you're looking at a resume, when you're looking at a job description and you look at the requirements, this is the job you want, this is what you want to do, this is how you want to move forward, and you notice that there's some gaps, there's something not meshing for where you want to go and what you want to do. That's okay. It shouldn't stop you. However, how are you going to fill those gaps? What is it that you can do to fill those gaps? So go ahead and look even at your current job description. Are there any gaps? Is there some things that were brought up this year that they're saying that they need you to step up more in, and they need to see you to become stronger in? Go ahead and fill those gaps. And the next one, how did you invest in your professional development? How did you invest in your professional development? Did you get a coach? Did you network? Did you have any training? How did you invest in your professional development? Even if, did you read a book? So it's important when you want to see some development, there's work, there's growth opportunities for you. And it's not about, well, they didn't offer it to me or this didn't happen. This is where you go ahead and you put yourself as the number one client when it comes to your career development and the focus that you want, and give it to yourself. Take some time, mark your calendar, block some time where you are working on what you want to see happen, coaching. You know, one of the things I like to do when meeting with a client is asking them to at least give 15 minutes before we meet and 15 minutes after. 15 minutes before, so that you can kind of clear your mind of the day and what's going on. And then 15 minutes after, so you can capture the whole conversation or what stood out for you. Because not only you're going to get some homework or something to apply to your current situation, but it's also good to have some time to reflect and not move forward to the next thing so quickly that you lose the power, the impact of what was just discussed. So invest in your professional development. Invest in your professional development. Take some time, even if it's during the day and you want to block some time and you're reading a book or you're reading something that helps you expand who you are, do that. If that's where you are and you're not in a place where your company is paying for an executive coach, or they're not offering that type of value to you because of where you are in the company, it doesn't mean that you cannot apply yourself and do things for yourself. There's many times I've read books during, or listened something in my ear while I'm working, but that's something that takes me higher or wider or stronger. And it's so important. So we've got a couple of more questions to go, two more areas, the financial and lifestyle goal. And then we want to add some things for the next 5 years and what that looks like. So the financial and lifestyle goals that you may have, here's 3 questions. Did my compensation and benefits align with the value I provided? Did your compensation and benefits align with the value you provided? Now that's a wake-up question, because have you ever taken a job and you realize they're not paying me enough for all this? That's that. Did my compensation and benefits align with the value I provided? And that's something to think about. And it's also something to think about if you're planning to make some shifts in 2025 or whatever year you're listening this in, that you want to not just say yes to a job because you want the job, but you've got to look at the compensation and what they're asking. Another example of a client wanted this job, wanted to work for this company, this organization, because it was a well-known name, well-known brand. But we're going over the requirements and I'm like, how much is this? And it did not match what they wanted that person to do. So really look at it, just do your research and really see, do you even have the time, the energy, or the space to do everything they're asking you to do? Because you got to remember, it's going to take some time. If there's some things that are just crazy outside of the park and you're losing money instead of making money. And you want to make some money, and hopefully you'll get some cushion in how you're making your money. You're not working as hard, you're working smart. Second question in this area: how did your work-life harmony support or hinder your overall well-being and performance? How did your work-life harmony support or hinder? Did you have a lot of migraines? Or were you always at peace? Well, majority of the time at peace. Work can be stressful, but is it stressful every day? Are you regretting it to going in where it affects your life at home on the weekend? That you're no good at home, you're no good with your spouse or partner or friends, because then you just show up and all you're doing is complaining about your job because it is terrible. Well, is there work-life harmony as much as you can? You can't balance. This is just you trying to do this. Harmony is trying to work the attempt of getting it to where it can at least roll forward without a lot of wobbling. It can stand up and it can be a somewhat of a pleasant experience. And if it's not, why are you there? That's a good question. Why am I at the company? That's the extra question right there. Why am I here? Why am I working in this department? Why am I working for this person? Why am I working with this person? Some people realize, and I'm so proud of another client, they realize that this person that they're working with, it just wasn't going to work. And that is free. So what we do is we work on some next steps. And what does that look like? What is that saying to you? And what is our next steps? And so we work on that. We come up with a process. We come up with a way, with a strategy to move that person into an environment that is more fitting. Now, I will tell you, you are not able to always pick the perfect person to work with, work for, work beside, however you want to see it, or lead. But there's some things that just are not healthy. And those are the things that you have to think about when it comes to your work-life harmony and what supports or hinders your overall well-being and performance. And the last question in this area is, am I satisfied with the financial trajectory of my career? Are you satisfied where you are going financially? Not just the titles and not just the money, but together, are you satisfied with where it's going? Is it a company that you can see there's more substance coming from it? And I mean substance. Or have you capped out? Have you capped out under your title? Because now if you get that raise, you kind of put yourself in another arena and it's outside the perimeters of your title. So they have to keep you like, I'm sorry, you're pretty much tapped out here and there's nowhere else for you to go financially. You need to find out, like, when do I tap out here? Are you satisfied? And if that is all you can get, are you still going to be there 5 years from now? So things to think about. So when we think about 5 years from now, we also have to consider, what do you see in the next 5 years? So I have created the ultimate career guide. I gotta get the name right. For the next in the next 5 years. And those are some of the questions that ask you, what needs to happen over this span of 5 years and what you need to do, what questions you need to ask yourself, where you see yourself and how the strategy can come together. It gives you a blueprint of what to follow, not somewhat, what to utilize in your steps, right? So here's some questions and vision for the next 5 years. Where do you see yourself? What do you envision as an ideal role or career path in 5 years? What milestones will signal that you're on the right track toward that vision? What do you need to stop, start, or continue doing to align with your 5-year career trajectory? Do you have a 5-year career trajectory? What do you see yourself doing in 5 years? So say you're 30, you'll be 35. What do you see yourself doing? Would you still want to be doing what you're doing? So you're 45, you'll be 50, or you're 50 and you'll be 55, or you're 55 and you'll be 60, or you're 20 and you'll be 25. What do you see yourself doing? And is it what you're doing now? And if it's not what you're doing now, what is your strategy? So what do you need to start, stop, or continue doing to align with your 5-year goal, 5-year career goal? And your last question, how will I measure success in my career by 2030? How will I measure success in my career in the next 5 years? Will you measure it by impact? Will you measure it by recognition? Will you measure it by financials? Will you measure it by personal fulfillment? Which way will you measure success? Because success has its own definition by every individual. So what is your definition of success, and what does success look like between now and the next 5 years? And what do you need to stop, start, continue? What milestones will be your signal that you're making it? And what, first and foremost, do you even have a vision? So there your question. That was 21 questions. 21 questions you should ask yourself as you analyze your career development, as you analyze where you see yourself and how you see yourself. And you have to remember there's like 5 stages. There's 5 stages of where you of career development. So there's the foundational stage, there's the growth stage, there's an advancement stage, there's a leadership stage. No, I was right. Advancement stage, then there's the leadership stage and the mastery stage. So foundation stage, that's when you're learning the basics. You get a lot of the people right out of college, or they're just now getting into corporate or whatever their choice is. It's just new. No more fast food restaurants. They're now into, the career. And then you have the growth stage, and that's where you've got a little experience and your confidence has grown. And then the advancement stage, that's where it's like you got some solid insight and you can contribute at the next level. Like what you say is starting to be listened to and taken in and actually followed. And then you have the leadership stage, and that's where you shift from just being, ability to contribute, but you're leading, you're managing, you're guiding a team, you're making goals, you're a part of the outcome. And then the mastery stage, that's when you've got years of experience. You're the expert, you're the thought leader, you contribute, you make impact, you're mentoring, you're speaking, you're getting paid to show up, and you're branching out for some on their own. So foundation, growth, advancement, leadership, and mastery. Those are the stages of career development. Along with those 21 questions, I think you're going to be okay. I think you're going to be okay. That wraps up this episode for today at the Strong Network podcast, where we do our best to give you strategies to strengthen your talents, to tap into your resilience, remain optimistic, believing you're necessary, and then going global. So I hope you did find value in today's conversation about evaluating your year's performance and your career journey. And I hope that you will do what you can to craft a clear and actionable 5-year plan. And like I said, I will put that guide in the notes here. And you can also email me at hello@drcarlainc.com. That's hello at drcarlainc@inc.com. You got it. All right. So don't forget to share this with someone else who needs to be focused or motivated or needs a strategy, or these questions would be helpful. I want them to share with them, please, because I want them to have it just as much as you are. And what a way to end the year, and what a way to start the year when you have some clarity of where you want to go, what you've accomplished, and where you're ready to excel in. Because how impressive if you walk in here and you've got all these questions, and if they ask you, where do you see yourself? You're like, bam, bam, bam. All right. Well, thank you again. Please leave a comment. I love those comments. Thank you for everyone who's left comments so far. Please subscribe. Please follow. Please share. This is Dr. Carla Michelle, the Strong Network podcast, and I thank you for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.